Welcome back to 101 Sports. Once again, I'm Erik Kendall. I'm joined by Tom Waterman and Alex Rosenbaum, who stopped by to share their thoughts about college basketball. Guys, I'll start you off with this question here. Who is the top player in all of college basketball? Who's the player of the year at this point? Alex, I'll start with you.
It's pretty simple. It's Evan Turner. He's averaging 19.5, 9, and 5. Okay? He's statistically the best player, and he'll probably be one of the top pros.
Another one of his bigger numbers is 4 turnovers a game, Alex. That, combined with the fact he shoots 25% from the three-point range, is John Shire. He plays more minutes than anyone. He scores just as many points as Evan Turner, and he shoots 40% from three.
And he plays no one. They're the only ranked team in the ACC. Evan Turner's playing teams like Purdue, like Michigan State, and he's shooting 54% from the field.
It's the Big Ten, Alex. Give me a break. There's 4 teams in that conference that are any good. Duke's played UConn, Georgetown, Gonzaga beat them by 35 in Madison Square Garden. They're out of conference schedule more than makes up for it.
Okay, yeah, honestly, for Evan Turner, Alex won that one just because there's a minimum to be on the show. You have to talk about Evan Turner
at least
twice. All right, so we're moving on here, talking about an elite player, obviously an elite player in Evan Turner. Let's talk about the elite teams. If the tournament were to start today, Tom, who would be the top 4 seeds? I know there are a couple teams up there. It's top-heavy, but who are the top 4 teams?
For me, it's Kentucky, Kansas, Syracuse, and Duke. There's 4 teams with great coaches, great senior leaders on all those teams, and they're so talented, and they've got the schedule to make up for it down the stretch. I think there's a good chance these 4 teams are the Final 4 in March.
Right now, if the season ended, you're wrong. Purdue would be in there. They're number 3 in the country.
They're not going to win their conference.
They're number 3 in the country. They're doing really well. They haven't lost their conference yet, so you can't say they're going to lose it yet.
They're going to lose it, though.
Duke could sneak in because a team like Syracuse has to play teams in the Big East. They still have Villanova. Purdue still has Michigan State, and both of them still have the tournament in which they could struggle.
That's a good point. And honestly, you're still under the required amount of Evan Turner references, so we're going to keep going here. Okay, elite teams. Let's go with some smaller teams. A lot of mid-major love out there. You've had Butler and Gonzaga in the past. What are some of the top mid-major programs you got to keep an eye on?
For me, it's New Mexico. They're 25-3 this year, ranked number 12 in the country, coached by Steve Alford, as we all remember, used to play for Bob Knight, used to be the Iowa coach. This is a team that's got a pretty impressive out-of-conference resume. Texas Tech, Texas A&M, BYU in their conference they've beaten and play them next week. I think this team's loaded right now.
That team's very good. It's a really good mid-major. They're going to probably be a 4 or 5 seed in the tournament. They're a team that's going to contend and probably mess up one of those top-tier teams. My team is Temple, a team that used to be up there, used to be on everyone's radar. They kind of fell down during the first decade of the 2000s. Now they're ranked number 18. They're 22-5. Their head coach, Fran Dunphy, is the all-time winningest coach at Penn, second all-time in the Ivy Leagues. The last 2 years, they finished second during the regular season in the A-10 and won the tournament. And the A-10 will probably have 5 teams make it to the tournament this year.
Not going to be much less than the ACC at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting to see how these teams do. They obviously don't have the big players, big names, big name coaches, but they are making some noise.
Definitely.
Good 2 teams there. But let's move on to some teams or some conferences. That need some big teams. Maybe Temple or maybe New Mexico would like to go to one of these conferences and help it out a little bit. Which is the worst conference? Alex, I'll go with you. In college basketball right now?
The Pac-10. I mean, they've got no teams with over 20 wins. They've only got 5 winning records. They've got no one ranked, and they're 5-14 against the top 25 in the coaches poll. And there are teams out west like BYU and New Mexico that could make that conference good. I mean, they just don't have what it takes.
I'm going to take a stand here. I'm calling for contraction of the Pac-10. Not only in football are there only 2 good teams in that conference, in basketball there are 0 good teams. USC cheats every year in almost every sport, and they still don't win.
They don't have it, and they have no star players coming out like Evan Turner.
There we go. He's over. The 2 minimum. Alex Rosenbaum, the winner. Yeah, I like what you're saying about the Pac-10. I mean, it's a tough thing out there. You know, I mean, what are you going to do?
You lost the Lute Olsons. You lost all the big names aren't there anymore, coach-wise, player-wise.
And that was a low blow on USC, by the way. We have to step aside for a moment to pay the bills. But when you come back, Mike Philbin will be joined by Christian Binder and Greg Bazowski to share their thoughts on the upcoming baseball season. Stay tuned to 101 Sports.